Children, today we are going to start with lesson number 3. The name of the lesson is Motions of the Earth. So let's start reading. As you know that the earth has two types of motions, namely rotation and revolution. Rotation is the movement of the earth on its axis. The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path on an orbit is called as revolution. So today we are going to study about rotation and revolution. Okay, so let me explain to you what is revolution. We see in this picture that the earth is rotating on its axis. So this is called as rotation. When the earth moves around its axis. So this action of the earth is rotation, and when the earth moves around the sun. So now we can see the earth is moving around the sun. So this is called as revolution. Okay, so this is called as revolution. So let's move ahead. The axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 with its orbital plane. The plane formed by the orbit is known as orbital plane. The earth receives light from the sun. Due to the spherical shape of the earth, only half of its light from the sun at a time. In figure 3.2, the portion facing the sun experience day, while the other half away from the sun experience night. The circle that divides the day from the night on the globe is called the circle of illumination. This circle does not coincide with the axis as you see in figure 3.2. The earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis. The period of rotation is known as Earth Day. This is the daily motion of the Earth. So, children, we are going to study these two figures. The first one is figure 3.1, inclination of the Earth axis and the orbital plane. In this figure, we see that the inclination of the Earth axis and the orbital plane, the axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degree with its orbital plane. So here we can see they have made this angle of 66.5 degree. This angle of 66.5 degree. Then in figure 3.2 we also study that day and night on the earth are due to rotation. We see the circle of illumination. Over here, we see that the earth is divided into two parts. The north pole is over here and the south pole is over here. It is bit tilted, but the part of the earth which gets light is called day. And the part of the earth which they have given in this dark color is considered night. And the part which get light means this half part, it is called as circle of illumination. Now let's move ahead. What would happen if the earth did not rotate? The portion of the earth facing the sun would always experience day, this thus bringing continuous warmth to the region. The other half would always remain in darkness and be freezing cold all the time. Life would not have been possible in such extreme conditions. The second motion of the earth around the sun is the orbit is called revolution. It takes 365.5 days, that is 1 year, to revolve around the sun. We consider a year as consisting of 365 days only and ignore 6 hours for the sake of our convenience. So children, if the earth would haven't been rotating as it rotates every day, life would have become very difficult because half part would always be in light and half part would always be in darkness. So as the earth rotates, all the part of the earth get equal amount of light and heat from the sun. The second motion we studied is revolution. The earth takes 1 year approximately to complete one revolution around the sun. It takes 365 and 1/4 days to completely revolve around the sun. So we consider it as 365 days and we ignore the remaining 6 hours for our convenience. In ancient India, astronomer Aryabhatta had stated that Earth is round and rotates on its own axis. So, in an astronomer Aryabhatta said that Earth is round. Now let's move ahead. Okay, so this is how the Earth rotates around the Sun for 365 days approximately. So this is the Sun. Then the Earth rotates around the Sun in an elliptical orbit. It rotates in an elliptical orbit. Now let's move ahead. 6 hours saved every year are added to make one day, that is 24 hours. Over a span of 4 years, thus surplus day is added to the month of February. Thus, every fourth year, February is of 29 days instead of 28 days. Such a year with 366 days is called a leap year. Find out when will the next leap year be. So, children, the remaining 6 hours of every year are added to the month of February every fourth year, means after every fourth year February will have the date 29, and every 3 years it will have 28, but on the fourth year it will have 29 days. So this year when the month of February has 29 days is called as leap year, and the year is of 366 days. Now, from figure 3.3, it is clear that the Earth is going around the Sun in an elliptical orbit. Notice that throughout this orbit, the Earth is inclined in the same direction. A year usually divides into summer, winter, spring, autumn season. Season change due to the change in the position of the Earth or of the earth around the sun. So we see that the earth is inclined in same direction. We see that it is tilted in this direction, and we experience different season. Over here we can see summer in the southern hemisphere, winter in the northern hemisphere. Then we can see spring, autumn, spring, winter, summer. So we experience different types of season because the earth revolves around the sun in a particular direction and in a particular orbit. The earth is inclined in the same direction. Now, children, this is all for today. The remaining